In this next step, we're going to add some graphics to replace our turtle as it's asking questions. And we want the graphics to kind of match the question. And I urge you to be creative and have a lot of fun with this. Download some really appropriate images from the internet. I kind of do some giveaways or spoilers when I download my, or when you see my images. You might want to be a little more careful. I'm trying to teach the concept, and you would probably want to be more focused on teaching what your quiz is going to be quizzing about. So you might want to avoid spoilers. Also want to throw in a reminder. I haven't been doing a very good job of reminding people to save your app. Save often. Okay, first I'm going to create a new list. And that list is going to contain the names of the images, the costumes I'm going to use. Because I can switch costumes based on names. And I'm going to use my famous item index of, and then I'm going to make a new variable called costumes. And this is going to be where I'm going to store the costumes. I'm going to call it costumes with an S so that I know this is the variable that is storing the costumes. I'm going to check it off so it doesn't appear on the stage. And then I'm going to set costumes to be this list of costumes I'm about to make. And I'm going to add that to my code here. So first, item I'm going to import is, the first question is variable. So I'm going to insert my variable picture, and I'm going to click, drag, and drop it, follow all those procedures you follow to insert a variable. And notice I've also named it variable. If you didn't name it variable, you didn't give it a good name, I'm going to make sure I give it a really good name. I'm going to call it variable. And you can rename your image as well by power clicking on the, or control clicking on the image and renaming it. And the next one I'm going to have, the next, and the order really doesn't matter because it's randomly accessing it, but I just want to make sure I have them there, is Snap, the programming language Snap, and I already did name it wisely. And then the last one is a list. And then I've got the list icon, the snap icon, and the variable icon all ready to go, depending on what image I want to call up. So now I have to program these very carefully into the list, and I have to spell them exactly right. Information assigned to name is a variable, and I have to put them in the right order here, because this is information assigned to name is variable. Index 1 is variable, and index 1 is when I want the variable image to appear. The second item is snap, and that's a programming language used in this class, so snap. And then the third one is a list, and I named it list, and I'm just going to double check that I named them the same way. Variable with lowercase letters, be careful with lowercase, capital, it matters. Everything is exactly the same, I hope. We'll find out if I did it right. Now, I have the list of costumes ready to roll. I am going to change the costume of the sprite based on whether what question is selected. So I have to be sure to do this after a question is picked. This index picks a question. And then I'm going to go to, oh, by the way, the costume is located in looks. It's at the very top of looks. Then I'm going to go to variable. And in variable, I'm going to use that block of code we use a lot. Index item blank of a list. So I'm going to use, and I could use the halo, but I'm going to build it first, just so it's clear what I'm doing. So item index of the list costumes. Now, it just happens to be coincidence. I just noticed that I named my answers the same as costumes. I could have some efficiency there if I wanted. But you're probably going to name your costumes a little different than your answers. And if I were you, I'd pick short names for your costumes. Just be careful that you don't just drag them in and they have those monster long names from the internet, like image11756334.png. You want a shorter name that's easier to put in this list here. So I'm going to switch to costume based on the item of the index of the currently selected question in my list of costumes. So let's test this and see if it works. Information assigned a name is a list. Wrong. Oh, information assigned name is a variable. Programming language used in this class. I better get this one right. Snap. Phew. Information assigned a name. I better get this right. This time is a variable. Right. Information assigned a name is a variable. Waiting to see if list comes up. Information assigned a name. Variable. Oh my land. It's like stuck. Phew. Okay, that was just random luck that it took so long for it to come up. But I wanted to test to make sure everything was coming up and everything was working. And it was. Now that I know everything is working, I'm going to want to save my work.